I support the ranking member's amendment, and in part, I support it because while I have great respect for the chairman, I disagree with his description of the views espoused by some of the members in his conference who have made it abundantly clear that this commission has one purpose alone, and that is to slash programs like Social Security and Medicare. And I don't think that they're particularly unabashed about it. Mr. Norman and I have had exchanges in the past, and I'm happy to give him an opportunity if he cares to clarify that. But you have not been shy in telegraphing your view about the cuts and reforms that you'd like to make to Social Security and Medicare, and that this commission is a vehicle to achieve that. Or am I not? Is that not your view?
No, I never brought up Social Security, never brought up Medicaid, Medicare. What I have brought up is we've got to get this country back on the firm financial footing. My good friends on the other aisle don't cut anything. And you bring up, the specifics of programs that just mainly to inspire or excite what I guess you consider your base is. We don't.
Well, let me reclaim my time. I'm surprised that you would make the case that you've never proposed any changes to Social Security and Medicare. I've heard you say that in this committee. I don't have the statements in front of me, but if you want to walk back from those, you can.
No, I'm not walking back. There is a time we're going to have to get real with, rather than have Social Security go bankrupt in, 2035? Rather than have the mandatory, we have got to address at some point. None of these address any of that, nor would we cut that now. We've got our hands full with the 30% that needs to be cut. We got a bloated government now. So.
Yeah, well, again, I think the American people understand that when a group of members on your side of the aisle, and I counted you among them, at least I suppose, again, maybe you changed your tune the last couple of days, but make very clear that they would like to cut these vital programs and create a vehicle through this so-called debt commission to achieve it. The fact that you might change your view today does nothing to change the underlying facts or the reality for the American people and what this commission would ultimately accomplish. Look, I'll just say more broadly, I support the ranking member's amendment, but I can remember a day 8, 9 months ago when I was told by my friends on the other side of the aisle that there was a new day in Washington, the days of backroom deals with leadership crafting large bills or CRs or what have you, and then bringing them to this committee in the dead of night, posting them. What time was this posted? I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock last night, and then telling your members that they're all expected to vote the same day on the text of that bill. I thought those days were done. That's what I heard from my colleague from Kentucky and from Texas. Well, I don't understand. I spent days on the floor listening to theatrical speeches about the new norms in Washington, D.C., the fight against the establishment. Lo and behold, I wake up and the very people claiming that those days were done are now the people who are engaging in it. This is regular order? This is the regular order that you spoke of? These are the reforms you spoke of? CRs posted in the dead of night? Telling 435 members, get ready, you're going to vote on it in a few hours? Man, I am surprised and disappointed. To say nothing, of course, of the substance of this bill, which Ranking Member McGovern articulated well. The House Republican Conference has been, as I said in prior meetings, engineering a government shutdown for weeks. And apparently, they're getting their wish because this CR, in effect, is a shutdown of the government. I don't know what else you call defunding the FBI and the DEA. What do you call that? What do you call cuts that literally will mean there are less FBI agents, DEA agents, state and local officer cuts by virtue of the grant programs and partnerships that exist between the Department of Justice and our local law enforcement officers? What else do you call that? What else do you call a 57% cut to wildland firefighters suppression? What do you call that in the wake of Maui and devastating wildfires across the Rocky Mountain West in my state, in Colorado? We've got a bipartisan coalition where we've been trying to fight to increase wildland fire suppression. I guess I'm gonna have to go find these colleagues that I was working with and ask them why they've decided to abandon that effort and vote for these draconian cuts. You know, the final thing I will say, and I want to yield to my colleague from Pennsylvania, but I understand for some of my colleagues, this is purely ideological. They believe, I take Mr. Norman, you know, with respect to his description of government and how he sees it, at his word. You know, he has said he wants to slash spending, right? You've said that. That's not more as a broad principle, right? And that's what you intend to do in this bill. What surprises me are the members in your caucus, these so-called moderates, people who claim that they're here for the good of the order, they're going to work across party lines, that they don't want to see any of these terrible consequences happen, and then yet go straight to the floor and vote in favor of it. That's what surprises me. All these members for weeks on TV, members of your conference, calling your conference the clown show and all the rest of these things. I mean, these are not my words. These are their words. And then what do? In an hour and a half, they'll march to the floor and vote for a rule that cuts funding for FBI agents and DEA agents and wildland fire suppression and God knows what else that you put in this CR that you published 8 hours ago. That's what they'll do. It's what we've grown and come accustomed to expect. But I can tell you the American people are watching, and they don't like what they're seeing. So with that, I'll yield to my colleague from Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Just with respect to this debt commission or whatever it's called, if it were actually to come into being, like everything